So for this section, we're still talking about inequalities, but this time we'll talk about two triangles. So these lessons kind of go together. So for this one triangle that we have, we're listing the angles from least to greatest. Which angle is going to be least? Which one? C is going to be the least. It's across from the smallest side. So if we're going least to greatest, angle C comes first. That one's the smallest. Which one belongs in the middle? Angle B. And the greatest is angle A. Questions about that warm-up? Good review of what we literally just covered. Okay. We've got a couple theorems. These are going to be similar to what we were just talking about, except now we're involving two triangles instead of just one. So the first theorem, it's wordy, but we'll just get through it. If two sides of one triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle, that's what they showed us here. Two pairs of sides congruent. The included angle of the first triangle is larger than the included angle of the second, meaning 88 is bigger than 35. I think we can all agree on that. Then the third side of the first triangle is going to be longer than the third side of the second triangle. So the third side of this first triangle being what side? We're just naming it with letters. WX is going to be greater than the third side of the other triangle, which is ST. Okay, so again, bigger side across from a bigger angle. Smaller side across from a smaller angle. It's just happening in two different triangles. It also works the other way. So again, we've got two pairs of congruent sides. The third side is longer than the third side of the other triangle. So 12 is bigger than 9. Then the included angle of the first triangle, remember, included means in between those congruent sides that they had, is larger than the included angle of the second triangle. So in this case, I know it gets cut off on the PowerPoint, but angle C is across from the 12, so angle C is going to be greater than or larger than which angle from the other triangle? Angle F, the one that's across from the 9. Similar idea. Bigger across from bigger, smaller across from smaller. Questions, concerns, or need more time on that? Yes?
Do we have to write the angle symbol every time? Even with these, because it can get a little confusing.
Yes, because if you don't, you're talking about a point. If you want to make your angle symbols more uniform, like make them a little smaller and make your inequality symbols bigger, you could do that. That'll help differentiate them. Anything else? Okay. Which is longer, AB or CB, considering that the measure of angle ADB is greater than the measure of angle CDB? Now, before we get into this, notice that they are telling us that this angle here, I'll put an X in it, this angle is bigger than this angle. Just using an X and an O just to talk about those angles. They look like right angles, but they're not. They're telling us here one angle's bigger than the other one. If it helps, you could assign them angle measures, and I honestly don't even care what they are. you could assign this first angle a measure of 10 degrees. Now, obviously, the way it's written, that's not a 10-degree angle. And we could assign this angle 8 degrees because it's smaller than the other one. If you would rather them be something like 180 or 60 and 30, it doesn't matter as long as you're fitting the restrictions that they gave you. Angle ADB has to be bigger than CDB. Knowing that, which side do you think is longer, AB or CB? AB, because it's the one that's across from the bigger angle. The reason we're able to do that, of course, is because we do have two pairs of congruent sides, the one that they marked and the one down the middle by reflexive property. Questions, concerns? Okay. Given that AD is congruent to BC, so I'm going to mark that right away. AD congruent to BC. How does angle 1 compare to angle 2? Now, of course, what do we know about BD? Congruent to itself, so you could mark that also. So angles 1 and 2 are included angles. They're squished in between these sides that we've marked. When it says how does it compare, it just means angle 1 is either greater than or less than, or in some cases equal to angle 2. So how do we think angle 1 compares to angle 2? Why do you think it's greater than? Good. Angle 1 is going to be greater because it is across from a side that is bigger than the side that angle 2 is across from. So angle 1 is across from a side that's 34, whereas angle 2 is across from a side that's only 33. That makes angle 1 bigger than angle 2. We still don't know what the degree measure is. We just know that one is bigger than the other. Questions, concerns? Okay. All right. Car A leaves the mall, heads due north for 5 miles, then turns due west for 3 miles. Let's start illustrating that. I'm going to take away letter B so I've got a little space. So we start out at the mall. I'll label that point M. Car A goes north 5 miles. So when they say due north or due west, they mean straight up, like straight north. And then when they turn and go due west, that means they're making a sharp turn and going west. 3 miles. So here we've got 5 and 3. So what kind of angle is it if they were going due north and then go due west? That's a right angle. Car B, I'll change colors to blue. Car B is going due south for 5 miles. And then they turn 80 degrees toward east for 3 miles. So they're not going straight east, they're going at 80 degrees. So I'm not going to make that line go straight out. I've got to make it at a little bit of an angle for that 80 degrees. Okay, 5 miles south, 3 miles east at that angle. Which car is further from the mall? So we could kind of put these lines back in here. That's one car's distance from the mall. Car B's distance. I'll make that purple line. So again, I cannot go based off of what this looks like. I made this drawing. I'm not an artist of any kind. I did not use a ruler or a protractor or a compass or anything to help me measure. I just sketched it. So we have to go based off of the angles and the relationships we have. We have two pairs of congruent sides, the 5s and the 3s. So we've got a 90-degree angle and 80-degree angle. If we label this point up here A and this point down here B, which of these segments or distances is greater, AM or BM? AM, because it's across from a 90-degree angle, whereas BM is across from 80 degrees, which is smaller. So that means that car A is further from the mall because that segment AM was greater than what we labeled segment BM. Questions, concerns about example 3? Okay, example B for 3, you could try to do on your own. We might talk about it at the start of class tomorrow, but you should have enough knowledge to do your assignment. Remember, tomorrow we will review, so come with questions from the homework assignments or from the notes at the start of class, and then we'll take a quiz using your notes tomorrow after.